It is Friday, May 27th, 2022, and from the home studio in Middletown, Delaware, I'm Marshal Manlove from My Sports Reports, and this is a Milestones episode of our show, version number 29. The first 28 you can find all over the regular platforms on the internet: YouTube, Rumble, Patreon, Getter, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, too. All those places, you can find it. Episodes 1 through 28. This, as mentioned, episode 29. And later on, after I do all these milestones, I'm going to talk about why I do this, how I have gone about doing this. I'm not going to do it now because you might not care, but if you do care, later on I'll talk about that. I will say this, though. First of all, this is brought to you by me, Marshal Manlove, stage hypnotist. If you would like a funny, fascinating, and memorable experience, find out all about my stage hypnosis show at marshalmanlove.com. And because I am going to talk about some milestones reached by local athletes to me here in Delaware, special thanks go out to Jazzercise in Middletown. The proprietor of this particular business is one of the runners of a Facebook group page that is dedicated to parents of Delaware high school athletes, and they are kind enough to post up links to these videos that I produce in that group where there's a lot of people. So that's why we do that there. Thanks to them. And now let's see who has done what. At the bottom part of the screen there, you can see the email address where you can send me milestones. MySportsReports@gmail.com. I'm happy to announce them. I can't get to every single one, but I will get to anything that is sent to me. And we'll start in New Jersey here, where this is Fallon Steckel from Nutley High School. She's on the right, and that's her catcher on the left. She threw a perfect game in the Essex County tournament recently. During the game, she also reached the 500 strikeout mark for her career. I believe Nutley just went on to win a sectional championship in New Jersey as well. To Pennsylvania, Bree Austin from Plymouth Whitemarsh High School scored her 100th career goal for the lacrosse team in a 15-3 win over New Hope Soulbury. To the home state here in Delaware, the Sanford School's Colin Campbell scored his 200th career goal for the Warrior lacrosse team in a 19-3 win against their rivals, the Tatnall Hornets. To Washington. For whatever reason, don't get out there very often. But since we are here, let's mention Olivia Vigiano. She broke the Seattle University softball team's career record for runs scored when she scored for the 124th time in her career. Back over to the East Coast, Pennsylvania, Bucknell's Nick Cravato set a new school record with 172 face-off wins this season for the lacrosse team. Back to the home state. The Sanford School's Michaela Tessian scored her 50th career goal for the Warriors soccer team. It came in a 6-1 win over St. Andrews, where she scored 4 of the team's 6 goals. Staying here in Delaware, Riley Thomas and Carly Maxton combined to throw a 5-inning perfect game against Ursuline a couple weeks ago. They also provided most of the offense as Maxton hit a 2-run homer and Thomas hit 2 home runs and drove in 8 runs in this game. Pennsylvania now, Josh Sullivan from Northern High School in Dilburg pitched a 1-0 no-hitter against Greencastle High School. To Massachusetts, Sarah Huff from Southwick High School celebrated 2 different milestones as she struck out the 400th batter of her career and also picked up her 100th career hit for the softball team. Out to Ohio, after tossing a career-high 10 innings and striking out a career-high 13 for the 5th time, Youngstown State senior Ellie Buffenbarger broke the single-season strikeout record with her 219th on the year. She now has 222 strikeouts for the season at this writing, and she also became the first pitcher in school history to win 20 games in a season twice. Don't see many Major League Baseball pitchers doing that, so congratulations to her. Staying in Ohio and Youngstown State, Nikki Sabine became the school's all-time leader in RBIs when she drove in her 131st of her career. Back to the home state here in Delaware, Delaware Military Academy's Hannah Watson scored her 100th career goal for her Seahawks lacrosse team last week. If I'm a goalie for the women's lacrosse team, I get nervous as I see this face and this dedicated lacrosse Boston College Eagle coming at me to throw a lacrosse ball at me. This is Boston College's Charlotte North, and she broke the NCAA women's lacrosse record for goals in a career with her 345th. To Georgia, where Georgia Tech's Blake Nelliman surpassed the 200 strikeout mark for the softball team this year. She climbs into the 5th spot for career strikeouts for Georgia Tech. Out to Idaho. Beautiful out there. Might head out there later this summer. Really nice. Might move out there at some point and do a show called Idaho Sports. Yeah. Kendall Martin tied the all-time Idaho State University record in the 100-meter hurdles last weekend at the Big Sky Outdoor Championships with a mark of 13:77. Back out this way to New Jersey, Samantha Del Hoyo from the Hunterdon Central Red Devils recorded her 100th career hit. She is headed to the University of Central Florida to play softball. To the home state here in Delaware, Maddie Sheppers from the St. Mark's Spartan soccer team scored her 100th career goal last week, and her 100th came in a 3-goal effort against Appoquinimink High School. Up to Massachusetts, carrying the ball there is Gabby Moroney from the South Hadley girls lacrosse team. She scored her 100th career point in a recent 25-5 win over Hampshire High School. Out to South Dakota, Siley Halverson ripped 19 home runs in each of the last 2 seasons, setting the record last year and then matching it this year. That's the South Dakota State University softball team. It's a lot of dingers. Also, from South Dakota State University, Tori Nishi set a single-season best mark with 268 strikeouts on the year for the South Dakota State softball team. I'm only laughing because recently I've had trouble saying the word single. Oh, yeah. Kept coming out as signal. All right, let's fix that there and head back to the home state here in Delaware, where Bella Gattuso from the Tower Hill School in Wilmington scored her 200th career goal in a 18-16 victory over Dover. And recently, she found herself on the NFHS all-time record list when she scored 12 goals in a game. That's not the record, but it's one of the top numbers. 12 goals in a game. The record's 20. Down to Florida, Florida State's Danielle Watson threw a no-hitter against Howard in an 8-0 win as the Noles prepare for their postseason play. And back to the home state here in Delaware. Tatnall's Taryn Singer became the first lacrosse player for the girls lacrosse team to reach the 200 career goal mark. So congratulations to all of those amateur athletes who have reached milestones of some sort. And I don't limit these to high school and college athletes. Hey, a middle school person could do it, a club athlete can do it, an adult athlete can do it. For example, have you thrown a legitimate perfect game in bowling? We'll talk about that here. Just submit it to me at mysportsreports@gmail.com. So if you've never seen this before and you've managed to get this far, congratulations, because you're one of the few that probably do. So I travel all around the country, and I've done sports broadcasting since the 90s. Well, for the last 15 years, I've traveled the country as a hypnotist. So when I get into any town, one of the things I like to do is find out how the local high schools and colleges are doing sports-wise. I do a show in a high school. I want to find out who the good sports teams are. I always ask. I find out in the newspaper, websites now, of course. And I've kind of married the two. So when it got a little slow schedule-wise the last couple of years because of the pandemic, I couldn't leave the house. I wanted to start doing something else with myself, and this is really kind of a hobby. And then I just kind of cross-promote, right? Talk about kids and the things that they do all around the country in a positive way. Talk about my show, and maybe somebody will bring me out to do a show, and I'll talk about their sports teams. I'll talk about anybody, and I'll talk to anyone. Also, if you would like to recommend somebody for an interview, I will be happy to arrange that here in one of our interview segments. And I've talked to people all around the country. I find that fascinating to do as well. I've met some cool people all around the country doing that, and it could be just one person and a coach, bunch of people from a team. We do so by Zoom. When I did my television shows back in the 90s and early 2000s, didn't have access to a satellite. So it's not like I could do anything nationally, right? Because who can afford to hook up to a satellite, especially with the 6 cents of revenue that have been generated here in the last 8 months. So this is a lot of fun. I like doing this. I just do it on my own time and my own dime right now, but I am also asking for lots of help. If you would like to join me and have some of the pleasurable experiences that I have, talking to people, meeting people all around the country, and all the fascinating things that they do in sports arenas all around the country, reach out to me at mysportsreports@gmail.com. And as previously mentioned, if you are possessing knowledge of somebody who has reached some sort of amateur milestone, submit it to me at mysportsreports@gmail.com. As I said, I can't get to all of them, but I will get to any and all that are submitted to me. That's my promise to you. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am Marshal Manlove. And now this sound can mean two things. The first time you hear it, it's the beginning of the show. Second time you hear it, snack time. Yeah. Snack time here in the home studio in Middletown, Delaware. And now, I am gone.